black-green rock. I always like to start by explaining what the deck names mean. Black-green rock, the black-green part's really easy to understand. The rock part, not so much. So the rock part of this deck name pays homage to a deck many, many years ago that played this card called Deranged Hermit. Then when it came into play, it created 4 1/1 green squirrel tokens. So it was referred to as the Rock because this was the Rock and his minions. His minions were these 4/4 green squirrel tokens, and I believe that that's a wrestling reference, if I recall, but that's where the name Rock comes from. So basically, black-based mid-range decks, often with green in them, that are disruptive. Her hallmark is generally discard cards. The Rock and his millions. Oh, is it millions, not minions? Minions made more sense to me. I don't know the wrestling jargon or whatever it says. Wolfman, thanks for the quarter of a year. The Rock and his millions, apparently, is the jargon. But anyway, the discard-based, disruptive, green-black decks are referred to as rock decks in Magic the Gathering. So that's where this deck's archetype's name comes from. As far as what this deck is doing, we're just kind of trying to play good cards. We've got Knight of the Ebon Legion, which honestly is probably on the short list for one of the best one-drops ever printed. Just very good utility, scales well into the mid to late game, which is great. We've got Paradise Druid because our curve's a little bit chunky past the 2, so I think Paradise Druid lets us curve into our 4-drops really nicely here. You can see I've got 3 different legendary 4-drops that I've not committed to any of them. You could say we're in a polyamorous relationship. There's no commitment here. We're just coward splits all around. We've got Murderous Rider, which is a good threat/removal spell. We've got Mire Triton, which is a card that I definitely have been impressed with so far. It gains life against aggro. It's got Death Touch against larger threats. And the fact that it floops 2 cards into our discard pile can help us recover Polukranos later on. I got a couple of Liliana Dreadhorde General at the top end because I think every mid-range or control deck in this format needs to have a way to take Dream Trawler off the table, and I think Dreadhorde General is one of the best ways black can take Dream Trawler off the table in this format. I really like Dreadhorde General as opposed to something like Farika's Libations because this makes them sacrifice 2 creatures, which means you get around like an 0/4 wall from a Birth or a 1/1/1 token or something like that and play from a castle. So let's go ahead and hop on into a constructed event with this one and see how it goes. How do we beat Reclamation and other combos? You mean with my deck that has a bunch of disruption and then creatures to attack them? Like, what kind of question is that? How do we beat Reclamation? I don't know. You blow it up, you discard the cards from their hand, you attack with your creatures. Like, come on now. Discarded. How does my deck full of creatures win a game of Magic? I don't know. It attacks? Listen, I know it's currently combo winter, but attacking is predominantly an acceptable way to win a game of Magic. Attack with creatures? What is this blasphemy, right? Deal. How do you win against play a good deck? Yep. I bet a better question would be, how do you lose against Reclamation? I've yet to figure that one out. You miss Morph. Well, I miss Megamorph. And Megamorph is Mega, so it's just the strictly better Morph type. Magic Arena where constructed staples like Disdainful Stroke and a Boreal Grazer don't have borderless options, but Child of Night, you better bet your bottom flipping dollar that Child of Night has a borderless option. God bless you, Arena decision makers. God bless. Crunch. So I traded with the 1/1 rather than their 2-power card there because these have Death Touch. So I want to be able, like, this can keep attacking me and I really can't block it with Questing Beast in the world we're living, so. Like, it's really not hard to figure out what cards, like, okay, to strap my liability hat on here for a moment. In my opinion, the fact that I cannot play the entirety of every Magic deck that was played at Worlds in 100% foil is a huge miss on Wizards of the Coast part. In my opinion, I should be able to play every card in the latest World Championships list in Borderless. That is how they should prioritize. All right, Questing Beast. It's gonna be a long road, Questerson, but we're gonna get there. I think I take the land because I need 6 to escape this. Oh, you know, I probably should have Mire Tritoned before Discovery in case there was a card I wanted to keep on top. Yeah, that was almost assuredly the line. Hey, thank Frank Tank. Thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, chat. One is not none. Where do we finish rank rise with red black? I think like 300 something. Probably gonna have to play and spike another couple matches. There's still like 10 days left before the season's done. At least they'll be able to say I died doing what I loved. They had smug little celebrate. All right, let's get all these witch figures in my deck. Rankle seems pretty bad. Liliana's probably unnecessary. Yeah, Liliana's probably fine. Leave one of her at the top end. I'll just bring in Disfigure. Oh, I just played the wrong card, the wrong land. That's awkward. I think I was supposed to Knight plus Remorse here. I'm gonna die to this card if this card was in their hand. I guess I could just kill their board. Did someone delete our explanation of the rock? There was one in there at one point. Did it get purged when you were purging stuff, Marty? Or am I just dumb and not remembering where it was at? Dispersal off of Paradise Druid could potentially deal with Heliod. Yeah, that's funny. I was thinking maybe I should have put a blue source in here, but yeah, actually we have blue sources off Paradise Druid, right? No, island's not free. Stop it. Is putting a random colorless land in your deck free? Come on now, use your head. Think about what you're saying. I call them Blastodes, yeah. Hey, Underground Sea is free. That's a good. Hey, thanks for keeping me around, Tupton Hammer. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Wow, chat, do you see this wall just get destroyed by Polukranos? I don't understand. My very orange president told me that walls worked, and these walls can't even keep a zombie Hydra out? Come on now. I feel like I've been lied to. I've been had. Oh, this doesn't get Death Touch, does it? Right, because it says prevent it. Yeah, you're right. You're right. This can totes eat the Death Touch creature, right? This can totally eat the Death Touch creature. Alright, do I want Eat to Extinction to exile Heliod should their board get big? I feel like the answer is yes. Well, that wasn't the spell I was hoping for. This is kind of a 6-lander. Maybe I'm supposed to throw it back. I don't know. This guy gets pumped up, right? Yep. Hey, thanks for the 22 months, D20 Bandit. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. So now they're going to send in the Sacrificial Stray here to turn their other cats into 4/4s. Sacrificing smaller cats to make their bigger cats even bigger. Something dark is going on the opponent's side of the board, chat. It isn't pretty. So when they first announced Pioneer, I was super hyped about it. Pioneer in a post-Theros world really has not been fun for me. Theros, for those not familiar, introduced a whole slew of new combo decks into Theros, and I've not liked where the format's gone since then. You know, I think I actually made a mistake here. I think I should have put these two Paradise Druids in front of this, maybe. So I haven't been Mythic since the first month of beta. What's the rank where I could consider resting on my position here at 700? Right now, I wouldn't consider resting until you were like, let's say top 150 or so. The further out you are from the reset, the higher up you have to be safe. If that makes sense. Is the DNC running this debate, or is it one of the news orgs that's running it? Would be my question. I do not play Commander. You think I want to pay 3 to draw a card? In a perfect world, what would Standard look like? I actually think the answer to that question, a perfect world, what does Standard look like, is actually, it varies from Standard format to Standard format. I think what an ideal Standard format is shouldn't always be the same thing, because Standard's the format that should have varied gameplay patterns from set to set. I think for me personally, I tend to prefer Standard formats where aggressive decks tend to be one of the better decks in the format, because in my opinion, better standard formats tend to have aggro as number one. You can feel free to agree or disagree on that point. That's subjective. I think aggressive decks in formats where you have good tools to keep up with them tend to be the most satisfying to play with and against. We could die in the air here. I need to start getting aggressive for sure. My one wish as a millennial, my one wish for the Democratic debates overall is, in my opinion, they should ban any network from hosting the debate that refuses to stream it on YouTube or Twitch or some other online platform. The fact that I have to like fumble around with proprietary online streaming things through web browsers that have varying degrees of quality is really awful. Like, if they also want to stream it on their own crappy platform, like, more power to them. But I'd prefer if I could always watch it on, like, one of the mainstream streaming services. Add that bird to my trophy case, chat. Crunch, crunch. Mostly, it just really annoys me when I can't Chromecast whatever the debate is streaming on. Like, when I have to, like, Chromecast my entire browser window and then, like, leave the browser up instead of just, like, clicking the button and sending it. I just want my Chromecast to work, chat. It's so convenient. Oh, ketchup fights. It's funny because it's sad. Reclamation, maybe? Could be ramp. Hey, Infernflow, thanks for the 14 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. The problem, Hacksaw, with that is, we talked about this when I was wondering, like, why is Iowa the first primary? Because, like, Iowa's a very red state, so Democrats pumping money into Iowa for the primary doesn't really make sense. And apparently those states have it, like, in their state constitution that, like, their primary is always first, and, like, they've said they'll move their primary date if other people try and get ahead of them. Which is just the hottest of nonsense. Nah, I really don't travel anymore, Corn Daddy. Especially with a third card on the way, third kid on the way. Probably even less. Thanks for the 7 months, Wild Dozer. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I was gonna jam Polyk here. So, confirmed flash deck. Maybe these Mire Tritons are going the distance. They're going full speed. They're all alone in this time of need. The content is great, but the value is when you go off on a grant. Congrats for the 3rd child. Thanks for the 2 months, Gibbo. I appreciate that. Welcome back. To be fair, back to the cave. The American political system is incomprehensible to a lot of Americans as well. That's one of the reasons why voter turnout is so low. All right, that's card number 7. I'm going to attack with one of these and leave the other one back. And next turn I can escape Polukranos. Polukranos takes 6 to escape, so we need 7 total in the bin to bring it back. Alright, let's start with this. Maybe I'm supposed to lead on Rankle. If I get quenched here, I'm gonna be real sad. Whoa, that worked. That's exciting. We did beat the white-black life gain deck. Everybody sacrifice. There has been no word about best of 3 Gitrog, unfortunately. This is very sad. Tis very, very sad. Why does Gitrog not work in best of 3? Because Magic the Gathering Arena is nothing but the utmost quality of software. How did I choose to only make them sack? Because my card in hand was good, and there's a possibility the cards in their hand, one of them wasn't good. So the possibility of trading my guaranteed good card for a card in their hand not being good is not a good expected value. Always think about it in terms of expected value. Yep. We'll see if Poly K gets to escape next turn, we could end up in an okay spot here. Oh, why is the last card always Hydrate Crisis, chat? Does anybody know? Why is the last one always Hydrate Crisis? How does one get the Gitrog with the Mythic Wild card? Polly K is hungry. Gobble, gobble. Having the Brazen Borrower here. Think we're dead. Mid-range decks like this tend to get devoured by the opponent's archetype, unfortunately. Just not a whole lot we can do. Hey, thanks for the 4 months, Veste. I appreciate the third of the year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Borrower's always been great. I think it's quite arguable that, like, Brazen Borrower is the best bounce spell that's ever been printed. Frilled Mystic. Whoa, we didn't get Frilled Mystic, chat. That's exciting. Yeah, they definitely should have done that at their end of turn. They missed making a wolf. That's accurate. They should have. What they should have done is they should have put a stop on their end of turn. And then they should have let their wolf token happen and then bounce it before I untapped. So Rankle trades with Borrower here. And then I have second Poly K to eat the Nightpack Ambusher potentially. And then depending on the quality of these last couple cards, we could be okay here. Yeah, Captain Hammer. In fact, someone added the Blue Devotion deck back to the deck queue, and I believe I updated it and put a link in there. Yeah, if you click on the deck queue, does it have the updates? I believe it does. Yeah, in the Stream Decker, in the deck queue on my website, sorry, there's a link to the Stream Decker with the updated variation.
this land, we are all connected. The land fights for us.
The land fights for us. There are 4 cards in my bin right now. This will be 5. This will be 6. We need 1 more after that to re-escape Polukranos. Sure.
Be wary of the ground you walk.
Hey, we'll do, Pino. Think we're dead. Oh, Polly on the Wolf would trade. Yeah, because the pump thing was dying. It doesn't matter. Grace is their last card. Second to last card. Never not. Never not. I don't even really know that I want to board in Duress. I want to trim my Liliana because they're too expensive at the top end. Extra trophy sounds good. Eats an instant at least, I guess. Give this a go. Yeah, War of the Spark rotating will be ideal. So, hoping to draw a third land in our first 2 draw steps so we can play Questing Beast on 2. Hey, thanks for the 13 months, First Spirits. Welcome back. 8 months till war rotates. You're not wrong. How long till war rotates? 32 weeks, 1 day, 10 hours, 2 minutes, and 49 seconds to be precise. Not that I'm counting, chat. Not that I'm counting, but you know. And if we're really lucky, chat, shortly after War of the Spark rotates, the White House will also rotate, and then everything will be hunky-dory. Magic will be great. Our country will be wonderful. You know, it's all you can ask for, really. Wait, things are looking up for 2020, chat. That's a good draw. Let's take a little peekaboo here. Okay, this works out pretty well. Good lord. All right, I guess I take one of those. Kill that now. Let's make their Mystic Dispute awkward here. Let's lead on Murderous Rider, and then we'll follow up with Mire Triton. And then if we manage to draw another land next turn, we'll be able to play our 4-drops around their counter unless they pay 3. And they don't really want to bounce any of these things too, so like sequencing in this way makes their Brazen Bar a little bit awkward. Perhaps they'll want to bounce the Paradise Druid. Alright, there's the land we wanted for Christmas. To shock that in, again, playing around this dispute. Now they could use this dispute as a way to like gain 4 here, basically, like tap me off for the Paradise Druids. Yeah, I don't hate this play from them. We're definitely paying for it here. So that's the worrying thing, Alex. I don't know that they think Pioneer is broken. That's the $1 million question is they can't fix Pioneer if they think it's not broken. So that's the question you need to ask is. They only have 7 cards that have been here, so they get to re-escape Uro, but then I get to play Polyk and trade Polyk for it, and then smack them. Yeah, honestly, I'd settle for Felidar Guardian being unbanned. I just want my toys. It feels like in every format I love playing, they ban my toys and they let all the other mean kids keep their toys, and it's just not fair, chat. Thanks for the 42 months, Andrew. I feel like you sent that notification already, because you made a 420 joke when you sent it. Oh, Twitch. Thanks for the 19 months, Ziggs. Welcome back. I explicitly remember you making a 420 joke. Okay. I am actually more optimistic that they might unban things in Historic or unsuspend things in Historic than they are to change Pioneer. And honestly, I'd be okay with that. Having more excuses to play Historic would make me happy, because I prefer playing Magic Arena to playing Magic the Gathering online. So having my preferred non-rotating format be on the Slick Pretty client, would you know, that'd be upside. I'd be pretty okay with that. Hey, Omega Fish, thank you for the Brandy Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oaklandia. Insert Wet, thanks for the very generous tier 2 resub. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. You bump a deck with a tier 2? Definitely. Thanks for the support. Is this a counterspell? Is this a... Of course it's a counterspell! I'm not salty, you're salty. I'm just dead, right? They have these two here, so I can't kill them with Rankle. If I escape this, they have 3 attackers that get through and I die. Rough. This type of matchup's extra hard for the deck that we're playing. Last season, when the opponent's archetype before Theros, when the opponent's archetype was one of the best decks in the format that was really popular, that we talked about how that archetype pushed traditional mid-range decks out of the format, and what we're playing is definitely what would be classified as a more traditional mid-range deck. It's got some 1-for-1, some card advantage in it, some expensive threats, and the expensive threat part especially really just makes us too clunky to get under the mass amount of counterspells that they're playing. Well, that's a better first land. Yeah, I think I don't even know that Historic necessarily needs Kaladesh to Ixalan so much as it just needs to feel distinct. So I think once we get another direct to Historic batch of cards or two, and we have another rotation in the fall, especially with rotation in the fall, I think Historic will take on a little bit more life of its own. Definitely feels very standard plus at the moment, but once Historic has different mana bases than standard, like there are shock lands in Historic but not in standard, that'll be a big difference. Right now, even the mana's pretty similar historic to standard, and once that is different, it'll really, I feel like and it feels kind of weird to say, but I do really feel like the mana bases kind of make or break the feel of a format. God bless America, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of the I sing. I guess we have to kill this. So I can't just play Polukranos and block, because they'll get to attack with Rob Rich. Oh, I should have killed this on their turn. Then their token couldn't attack. Any wishes for the next turn land cycle? No, not really. Yep. Punish for my timing on Murderous Rider. I don't know that we're... I don't know that we're in that game, even if they don't get to cleave there. Pretty far behind. Got a bunch of Witch Figures in the board, a bunch of Thrashing Brontodons, a trophy, trim Discovery, trim Rankle, trim Liliana, trim a couple of Agonizing Remorse. Seems good. Seems good. I'm gonna bring in the Eats, actually. Get rid of all the Remorses. I think that WotC's updating Arena slowly so they don't have to reset the server again. I feel as though there was a bunch of backlash from doing that. I don't understand what you mean, Frank Tank. I feel like your statement doesn't make sense to me. I'm gonna bottom this. 1, 2, 4 here. Is Duress good for trying to Ember Cleave? So, Duress is a card that I don't like in matchups like this, where the key to knowing whether or not a matchup is a bring in Duress matchup, in my opinion, is if the matchup has a high density of cards that Duress hits, it's good to bring Duress in. It is not good to bring Duress in matchups where they simply have high impact targets. So even though Ember Cleave and like Frenzy are really powerful cards that you don't want them to have, the fact that the quantity of cards that Duress can take in a matchup like this is low, I think means it's not worth bringing in. So I chose not to shock in for Murderous Rider, because if they played a 3-drop, it was likely to be Phoenix or Annex, and I'd rather eat to Extinction either of those cards. No, I don't think those two things are related at all, and I'm confused why you think that they're related. Why does resetting or not resetting people's cards correlate to the rate at which they can update things? Those two metrics should not be related at all. So if I kill this now, I can attack them, and they can't attack me. I'm not blocking. I think I'm gonna let them have attacks next turn. That was, they did a reset at the move from closed beta to open beta. It was closed to public beta. I'm just gonna Witch Figure this here. Blocking this is tough because my 2/1 can't trade with it, and this can't block if they have a Shocker or Rimrock. Gonna lose Mire Triton here to stomp, I assume. bad pickup. I was just asking, I felt as if it was stopping. Okay, so here's a good lesson in general. Why your feelings are logical. Don't make random guesses based off of your feelings. There's no reason why the ability to reset the cards that are in the game would have anything to do with their ability to do updates. Like, those two things are pretty close to the furthest away from being related as possible. Alright, that's not terrible. This allows Murderous Rider to eat Bone Crusher Giant, which is nice. Although I guess Castle Embereth kind of fudges that math up a little bit. Who's got two thumbs and is excited to die to Embercleave? This guy right here. Oh, Marty, I didn't realize that was a command. That's great. Oh, they just didn't activate their castle for some reason. Good deal. We take those around here. Woof. What are the odds they forget about their castle for a second turn? It doesn't matter, because I can only get this to an 8. Oh, that was a rough set. Yeah. I felt like that was a good example of why kind of a traditional mid-range like this isn't very good in this format. The flash deck isn't super popular, so I don't know that I necessarily would take that. I'd take that one with a grain of salt, but like, normally speaking, decks like this are supposed to be reasonable against red aggressive decks, and the very combo-focused, combo-centric nature of the red deck in the current format, I feel like really changes that dynamic in a way that's not good for this deck. I feel like we kind of struggled to be as aggressive as would be useful, and I think my thoughts in general are, I felt like this had a lot of parallels to the Red-Black Titan deck that we've played a bit of in Standard, and I kind of feel like this is just doing what that build was doing, but this does it a little bit better, in large part just because the Bone Crusher Giant Kroxa Phoenix of Ash package in here really allows this deck to be more aggressive, and having that kind of aggressive slant is more important, I think. You can even see this deck's even playing Embercleave to allow it to punch through. Yes, yeah, exactly. The Embercleave decks means that, like, normally, traditional Magic archetype logic states that, like, you want to be a little bit bigger than what your opponent's deck doing, so if they're low to the ground, being mid-range is supposed to be good against them. But between Torbrand and Embercleave, these decks that get to be low to the ground also have this incredible punch-through power that just means if your mid-range deck isn't doing something that's just, like, inherently kind of broken, you end up being not quite good enough against them a lot of the time, I think. All right, what are we doing? Up next, we have some Abzan Doom. This is a deck that we played a little bit of last season that got an upgrade in Treacherous Blessing. I'm going to go ahead and hit a quick ad roll here while I get things flipped over. When we get back, we are going to put some cats in some ovens and cast some Doom on some folks. So back in a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks.